I've invested in 30 randomly selected penny stocks over the course of the past 6 months, and in today's video I'm going to break down what the results of that investment have been so far. And I'm also going to discuss, if I went back to the beginning of this investing experiment, what would I do differently to potentially get better results? At the end of the video, I'm going to increase my position size in one of the penny stocks on the list, because after doing more research and more due diligence, I've decided that it's actually a pretty interesting investment for the next few years. So stick around for that. So here are the overall results of the portfolio looking at the 1 year timeline. Now, ignore everything that happened in the first 6 months of this year. That was before I decided to dedicate this account, this portfolio, to this penny stock experiment. Starting in June 2021 though, I invested in totally random penny stocks that I found, some of them using a ticker symbol generator, some of them I found on Reddit, some of them I found on YouTube, and some of them I actually took from the comments section of my own YouTube videos. And the results of all of these investments are in, and currently the portfolio is down $218, or about 13% since I started. And if I compare those results to the S&P 500, for example, over the past 6 months, it's up 8.5%, meaning that the delta between my random penny stock strategy and just index fund investing in the S&P is about 21%. Now I'm going to scroll through the list of ticker symbols that I have here, and this final column, all-time return, shows you how much it's either up or down in a dollar figure and also a percentage. And something that you'll notice is that there's wild volatility and wild spreads on these investments. It's not like investing in a blue chip household name company where the price is probably not going to drop 50% or go up 50% in a short period of time. With penny stocks, however, the market cap of these companies is generally so small that any piece of news, either positive or negative, or any small bit of speculation could send the stock either sky high or tumbling. The idea, the hypothesis anyways, is that if you have a diversified basket of penny stocks, one of them might hit it big, might 5x or 10x, and that would offset the losses seen with the other penny stocks, because we know that there's a lot of volatility. In terms of some of the biggest gainers and losers, there's some penny stocks that are down 50+% and others that are up 50+%. This company here, for example, Eterna Zentaris Incorporated, is a medical and biopharmaceutical company that's developing a bunch of products and tests that it has in the pipeline. But this one is what I would call highly speculative, because the price of the stock is really totally dependent on whether or not investors believe that the products it has in its drug and testing pipeline are actually eventually going to come to market. And if they do, the price of this one will probably skyrocket immediately. And if they don't, of course, we're going to see some negative results like this. Generally speaking, the penny stocks that I invested in that are in technology space or that are in cryptocurrency and things of that nature are not doing well. A couple of areas are outperforming. For example, I've got a couple of investments in the nuclear mining industry. For instance, Denison Mines Incorporated and Laramide Resources Limited, and both of these are doing quite well. One company I have in this portfolio that I'm extremely impressed with the performance is SVI, or Storage Vault Canada Incorporated. And they own and operate a number of storage and self-storage solutions across the country. And I would say that since I invested in this company, it's left what I would classify as a penny stock, which is generally speaking a market cap of maybe 1 billion or less and a stock price of maybe $5 or less. And this company has really outperformed. Anyways, if I was going to go back to the beginning of this random penny stock experiment, there's a few things that I would have done differently to try to weed out certain types of companies, certain types of penny stocks that I think probably have less chance of success moving forward. First of all, the industry or sector that the company is in really does matter. And you could still go with a random approach, but I think it might be wise to weed out industries that probably don't have a huge opportunity moving forward. For example, when I randomly generated a bunch of ticker symbols, a lot of those companies that were spit out by my algorithm were mining companies. But the mining sector can really be boom or bust, and that especially depends on which resources we're talking about. Uranium has done quite well, but the couple of gold and silver mining companies I have not done well. Now, when I was randomly selecting these companies, I could potentially have thought this through strategically and limited myself to sectors or areas that I thought had higher potential, but I didn't do that. Another thing that I would do differently is focus more on companies that are disruptors and that have real solid growth potential as opposed to trying to pick penny stocks that already are generating revenue and profits. Third, there's a couple of companies on this list that have more recently become penny stocks after being more legitimate companies. For example, we've got Indigo Books and Music up here, and we've got the Roots Corporation down here. Now, if you're Canadian, you've probably heard about these. They're both household names, and they're both in the retail sector. Obviously, Indigo Books and Music sells books. It's a bookstore, and we all know that that is an industry that has been in decline. I mean, just look at the 5-year price chart for this company and tell me what you think the trend is. Roots, on the other hand, is a little more interesting. They produce their own line of apparel, but they have a pretty massive retail presence in malls all across the country, and you got to think that all of that overhead with all of that space that they're paying for might not actually be the best thing in the new world of pandemic and lockdowns and the rise of e-commerce and Amazon. I'm just not so sure that either of these companies are well placed to be a part of the future economy. And so when I was choosing my random penny stocks, I probably should have weeded out any companies that were previously well established and that have seen a drastic decline and then become penny stocks, because that's not the type of growth opportunity that we're looking for. And I feel like something like an Indigo Books and Music is much less likely to 5x or 10x than some new penny stock company that's innovative and it's in a new industry and is taking advantage of emerging opportunities. Now let me tell you about the one company on this list that I'm actually going to increase my position size in today because I've done more research, more due diligence, and I think it's an interesting opportunity. And that is the Ether Capital Corp, or ticker symbol ETHC. Now this one was actually recommended to me in the comment section of one of my videos, so I threw it in the portfolio, but then I actually started doing more research on it, and I thought that it was even more interesting. So if we go to the Ether Capital Corp website, we can see what this company is about. And their main holding, what they're mainly investing in, is Ether, which is the token for the Ethereum blockchain. You can see that they currently have a balance of 33,272 ETH on the books. They've also begun to stake a decent chunk of that ETH. They're now up to 10,272 ETH staked, which is a huge increase from the last time I published a bit on this company, where they had, I think, 32 ETH staked at that point. And that's earning a yield of 5.2% per year. And they also have a couple of other angel investments in other blockchain projects. For instance, the MakerDAO and the Wire cryptocurrency exchange. So why am I bullish on this company? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, I'm very bullish on the underlying asset here, which is Ether. The Ethereum blockchain is shifting from proof of work to proof of stake. That's going to help them scale immensely, and I think we're going to see huge utility gains and probably price appreciation as a result of that. Now, I'm not going to get too detailed here in this video because it would be much too long, but basically I think a massive portion of Web 3.0 is going to be built upon the Ethereum blockchain. That's going to include things like the metaverse and all these NFTs and many, many other applications, smart contracts, etc. So I'm very bullish on the underlying asset. Secondly, I took a look at the balance sheet and the income statements for this company, and it's a very solid position. They have very minimal operating costs and basically no debt, long-term or short-term, which is a huge positive in my opinion. And the Ether staking yield of 5.2% combined with the potential price appreciation of the underlying asset is a pretty big opportunity. Now, in my cryptocurrency portfolios, I'm also pretty heavily bullish on Ether, and this is just another way to gain some exposure to it in an interesting way. They've got a couple of other investments here with MakerDAO or Wire that might actually materialize into something, but even without those, if we just set those to the side and assume that those go to zero and nothing else happens, if we just look at the value of the Ether that they have on the books, which is currently 146 million, and compare that to the market cap of the company, which is 152, we've basically got a 1-to-1 ratio there. So yes, I'm very intrigued by this company, and today I'm going to purchase 18 more shares and add that into the portfolio, and we'll see what happens with this. This is one of the only positions here that I've actually tinkered with, that I've actually increased because I thought that the company had some solid potential. Now, if you like this video, maybe you also want to check out this one where I show you my experimental cryptocurrency portfolio and talk about all of the positions that I initiated there and what I'm doing with that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.